Let's talk about the top 10 meta cards that we're going to be seeing from Magnificent Monsters. So make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that Wing Kuriboh Sabatiel level 10 button so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. Now this card is going to put heroes up on a pedestal, and it's going to do a lot for these decks. Obviously, especially when we're heading into Destiny hero here, Sabatiel is going to feel very, very good. It's just because, hey, we can reveal it, pay half of our life points, add a polymerization or a fusion spell from your deck to your hand. Do you know what has fusion in the name? It's Destiny, Fusion Destiny. Being able to turn this card into a Fusion Destiny to start your entire deck is among some of the most disgusting and yet consistency enabling stuff that we have seen in the modern era, traits. And honestly, I mean, hey man, heroes finally deserve to get some love out here, and it just stinks that, this is the way we have to do it. So, hey, Wing Kuriboh level 10 Sabatiel, the most custom card that you can build into your existing hero strategy. And then we have Rainbow Bridge Bifrost. First of all, Rainbow Bridge Bifrost is terraforming light at the cost of sacrificing a couple of extra deck slots, because it's banished 3 level 10 or higher monsters from your extra deck, including a light synchro monster, to add a field spell from your deck to your hand. Now, obviously, you can only use one of these once per turn. Field spells are still an incredibly powerful gimmick within the game. I do feel like our dependency on field spells has calmed down a little bit, but the thing here is you're trading 3 extra deck spots in a game where the extra deck is one of the most important elements of the game. By sacrificing those to up your deck's consistency, not a lot of decks, and I mean not a lot, are going to want to play this, but this card has to be mentioned because it's 3 additional terraformings in the game. That's now 4 terraformings to search field spells. That's a lot. Then we have favorite hero, Shining Flare Wingman. This card is still one of my favorite super poly targets out of this set. Obviously, the Wingman itself is good, but Shining Flare Wingman just gets to do some really funny things. Because on special summon from the extra deck, you can shuffle 5 monsters from your graveyard into the deck and then draw 2 cards. Why is it that this thing that requires a fusion monster plus a face-up monster on the field has a built-in Pot of Avarice that gets 1,000 attack? Sure, man. I love resetting resources, and if it destroys a monster by battle, you get to inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack that a monster had on its original attack. So basically, you could be dealing 3,500 points of damage with this over things to kind of control the opponent. That is actually really, really good. I do honestly like everything that the Shining Flare Wingman is supposed to give to the decks on the control side of things, because honestly, just more Super Poly Madness is good. We have Crystron Halqifibrax Prism. So this card, in combination with the old Dragoonity Link 4, and Luin is the tuner we're going to be using for this. So this thing is 2 monsters, including a tuner to make. That's incredibly easy. On Link Summon, we get to special summon a tuner from the extra deck in defense mode with level less than or equal to the original level of the monsters used as material. And then during your opponent's main or battle phase, we can banish this card, special summon 3 Crystron tokens to your field, but they can't be attributed. We don't care about that effect. We just care that on Link Summon, we get special summon a tuner out of the extra deck, which then means we can automatically make the Dragoonity Link 4 that ends up locking the graveyard from the opponent. Is this going to see a great amount of play? Not as much as you think, but I guarantee you, people are going to try to be incredibly cheesy with this card, and that's exactly what we want to be seeing. Then we have Infernal Strike Fighter. This card, oh my god, if there is a card that Elf Note have been waiting for, it is this thing. So this thing literally says, during the main phase 2, oh, sure, you can destroy as many face-up monsters on the field as possible, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the combined levels of those destroyed monsters times 200. And if this card is destroyed by battle card effect, you can target a level 5 or lower machine monster in your graveyard in special summon and defense mode. This can technically bring back Jet Synchron, which is a funny, but the fact that we can just detonate an entire field. So, like, we can go through, we can't finish our opponent off, but we can just go ahead and destroy all of our face-up monsters, and then we can just ping the opponent for 200 for everything that was destroyed. that's going to end a lot more games than I think people are willing or wanting to have the argument for. And Infernal Strike Fighter will be a card that people are going to get absolutely pissed at just for being like, wow, you know, you sacked me. Nope, I had a technical backup plan. Cyberse Code Magician. So this and the new Link 2 are pretty big topics of conversation when it comes to the Malice deck. Malice still is a deck that exists in the background. Now, Cyberse Code Magician says, hey, if a Link monster control be used as Link material for a Cyberse monster, this card in your hand can also be used as material. So this is a free use from the hand. And if it's sent from the hand or field to the graveyard, you can send a Cyberse monster from your deck to the graveyard. Say no more, fam. We needed an extender for the deck to be able to do a lot more of the cheesy things that the deck needed to do. And honestly, I think Cyberse Code is just it. I think Malice, between this and the Link 2, both of them are going to get some absolutely great value out of this, and I'm honestly looking forward to it. Next up is the fanciest of balls. You know, you also got the Alt Art IP and the alternate art SPs in this set, and I think both of those cards are going to be great, but Fancy Ball is just that. It is a fancy card that says, hey, so when your opponent activates a monster effect on the field or graveyard, we can banish this card that was special summoned this turn until the end phase to negate that effect, and if you do, banish it. During your opponent's main phase, after this effect resolves, we can Link summon a Link monster, and if this card you control would be used as material for that Link summon, you can also use a Link 2 or lower on your opponent's controls. And then neither player can activate the effects of Link monsters in response to this card's activation. So it's an SP, but it also gives you the ability to, if your opponent's got a Link 2 on the field, you can bump both this and that off of the field to be able to make something else. Like, say no more. Like, this is why WP Fancy Ball is as fancy as it absolutely expects it to be. And honestly, I'm looking forward to finally getting to play this card. And then we have the Synchro Emergency. This is probably one of the most notoriously powerful cards within this set. And I know a lot of casual players are going to be clamoring on to this as an actual hope for things. So if only your opponent controls a monster, we can activate this card from your hand. Turn 0 plays and the opponent goes first is great. We can special summon a monster from your hand but negate its effects. And then if your opponent controls a monster, special summon from the extra deck, you can special summon a Synchron from your deck until the end of the next turn after this card resolves. You cannot special summon from the extra deck except for Synchro monsters. And we can banish this card from the graveyard after this effect resolves. Synchro summon a Synchro monster. And you can only activate one Synchro Emergency per turn. That's not one Synchro Emergency effect. So this is a world where your opponent goes first, does something, starts to climb up. You slam this on the table, special one from the hand, special a tuner, and then banish this from the graveyard to start a Synchro combo of your own to be able to build up some advantage. It is really cheeky, but it is definitely probably one of the most powerful hand traps we've got coming out here. And then we have Dark Magical Curtain. Now, this card is going to be Yummy's savior, and I know a lot of people are going to be looking for some sort of way to try to abuse this card. So Dark Magical Curtain says, hey, each player can special summon a Dark Spellcaster from the hand or deck, but neither can activate their effects this turn. Then if you special summon a monster whose original name is Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, you can add a spell and trap card that mentions Dark Magician from your deck to your hand, except for a copy of itself. And of course, you can only activate one of these once per turn. Your opponent does not have to have a Dark Spellcaster in their deck for you to activate this card. I want to point that out. As long as you are good to go with this, this will just beam on out. But this combos up with Witch of the Black Forest, getting you some free bodies generated on the field for you to be able to do some kind of nasty stuff with. And I do think Dark Magical Curtain will be one of those fun cards that a lot of people are going to look at and they're going to go, okay, I understand exactly why this card is absolutely broken. Yes, it is. And then we left Dark Magician and the Pharaoh's Servant on the top of this. This is mainly for the fact that you're now going to have real Dark Magician decks running around. So remember, this card's name becomes Dark Magician while on the field or in the graveyard. That's really good for DMOD. You can only use one of the following effects of the Pharaoh's Servant once per turn, and only once that turn. So if it's in the hand, reveal a spell card, special summon this card, and then we can set a spell and trap card that mentions Dark Magician from the deck, or we can quick effect, discard a spell to destroy all spell and trap cards your opponent controls. The fact that this will be a quick effect going into the opponent's turn to pop all their back row is very, very comedic, and I do like that. But I think Dark Magician getting an additional name definitely warrants it being on the top of this list. But what do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here in day, guys. patrons. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.